Did you know that gunmen in Nigeria have kidnapped at least 87 people in a new attack? This is coming a week after an armed gang seized 286 students and staff from a school. The recent kidnappings have once again brought international focus to the resurgence of mass kidnappings in Nigeria that has devastated families and has impacted over 10 million children in the country.
51-year-old Esther Joseph says she went almost mad when her 13-year-old daughter Precious Sim was kidnapped with other students from her high school in northern Nigeria in July 2021. A petty trader by profession, Esther had to sell several of her possessions to secure her daughter's release.
I
was too traumatized. So people were helping me to organize things, but I know that I sold some of my properties. I sold my pots, my fans and my television. So many things I had to sell. Sometimes she jerks up in her sleep and runs to hold me. She's scared of the light bulb. The fear seems to be reducing a little, but she gets agitated at any loud sound. If I shout at her, she gets scared. And it is because of the experience in the bush, like how they're shooting or treating them. She's still scared.
Maybe they spray in the bush.
Like Sim, who is 15 years old now, there are many who are still living under the shadow of trauma. In northern Nigeria's rural Kaduna, Jimmy, a shopkeeper, was kidnapped in 2022. Jimmy spent 2 months in captivity and was only released after his family sold his belongings to afford the hefty ransom.
My uncle begged them and they reduced it to 4 million naira and further reduced it to 3 million. They had to sell my properties. I had 4 engines, but they sold 3 and used the money for my ransom. I was in the kidnappers' camp for 2 months before I was released.
Nigeria, the most populous state of Africa, is battling a dual crisis. On one hand, it's grappling with one of the worst economic crises in years. On the other hand, a massive surge in kidnappings has terrorized its people. In the most recent attack, gunmen have kidnapped at least 87 people, including women and children in Kaduna. This is barely weeks after an armed gang seized 286 students and staff from a school in early March. Since Tinubu was elected president of Nigeria in May last year, the nation has witnessed over 4,500 cases of kidnappings, many of whom are women and children. The scale of human travesty in Nigeria is such that more than 10.5 million children have been forced out of schools, becoming the highest such case in the world. Not just this, over 700 schools have shut down. The UN has identified factors including kidnappings, insecurity, and a long-running insurgency in the northeast as the main cause, which has also caused a far-reaching sociological impact in the country.
In any area where these abductions take place, parents withdraw their children from school. And especially it affects the girls more than the boys. Many girls have been withdrawn and married off at a very, very small age. And as a result, they are completely missing out on education.
The first such kidnappings in Nigeria were first carried out by jihadist group Boko Haram in 2014. But the tactic has now been adopted by other criminal gangs, and while the Nigerian government has failed to rein in on the kidnapping syndicates, it has banned people from paying ransoms, punishing it with a jail term of at least 15 years, leaving the people even more helpless.